Going to be a SEO audit of this grill cleaning company. The Grill Authority is the name of the company. What we're going to do is we're going to look over their website, see what they have going wrong, rather some page structure, some technical SEO things like canonical tags, 301 redirects, their URL structure. We're also going to look at maybe some of their external links and see what they got going on, if it's appropriately matching the URL that is being served when you visit the site. And we are also going to look over their Google Business Profile. So first things first that I see on this, let me make sure that this is actually their head one or heading tag. So their H1 is grill cleaning and repair for Philadelphia suburbs. That is great. Great H1 tag here on right at the start. So some things that I was noticing when I was looking over the site is that you have these placeholders for your other locations that you, I think, are serving or are wanting to serve, right? But currently right now, none of these are clickable. Only the one you have is this one. All of these are currently blank with no links to. Whenever you get a chance, if you do already have these service pages or these service area pages, I would get them linked to. What commonly occurs is that people will go and create pages, but then they won't link to them. And so what that does is that makes that page orphaned. An orphaned page is something that's not linked to ever. Rather externally from backlinks, social media profiles, social media posts, or like chambers or etc., right? Or it's not linked internally as well. And so what that does is that you have this page that you're aware about, but Google's not aware about. So then Google can never come by to crawl that page to actually discover it exists, right? So always make sure you have proper internal linking to all of your pages, not only in your sitemap.xml, but you can also do a sitemap HTML. And this is where you're just creating your own sitemap and having an HTML version of it. You can place it in the footer of your site. And this just gives us another location, another hub that Google can frequently visit to get a list of all the URLs on the site. And this will help us achieve that full crawl depth so that every time we go to add a new page, every time we go to update a page, Google is coming by and is able to quickly grab all the URLs to then know where it has to go to visit all the pages that we have on our site. Not only can you do that in your sitemaps, but then you can also have location hubs. And what a location hub is that you have a locations page. On that locations page, you then have links to all of your individual locations. So on a locations hub, you could have 10 to 12 to 15 links to your individual locations. Or instead of doing locations hub, let's say you do a services hub. This services hub is a page with all the links to your individual services. And so those are just a couple of ways to ensure that you get proper crawl depth each time Google comes by, and you don't have your pages orphaned because you have no external or internal links. So on your site, this is awesome that you're pulling in all of this review data, all of this review content, but on your Google Business Profile, these reviews also have photos that are coming with them. So what you want to do is you want to pull these and display them on your site with the review content that also goes with the images. And then behind those images, what you also want to do is add a little bit of verbose alt text. Alt text can be like a 2 to 3 sentence description that the crawlers can see, right? Like Google, what have you, that doesn't display on the website. It is hidden behind the code. And so what you can do is for each of these images, it doesn't have to be crazy specific, right? We're just wanting to describe the service that was offered, but generally you just want to have it talk about the service that was provided and what's in the image. You don't have to be super specific, and it doesn't have to be crazy detailed. And because you already have all of these images on your Google Business Profile, you can just take them and then have them displayed on your site as another trust factor. Not only that, in the reviews, when people go to speak about the service that you provided, they can inadvertently or accidentally include entities, LSI, or even keywords that are all relative to the service you're trying to provide. And by displaying those on your page, that will also help you get ranking factors. Another thing you can consider doing is that for the specific keyword, LSI words, or the entities, you can bold them as well, and that will help. And then also in your FAQ, you can start bolding a few of the keywords, LSI terms, or even entities. Another thing is that you can get a few more FAQs on here if you're wanting to help us get, again, more of those keywords or etc. on page. So same day mitigation just commented in the chat. Website is not fully developed, so we're looking forward to your input. Yeah, happy to give it. So let's go check your social profiles. So what I'm checking right now is to see the URL structure you used. Okay, so it matches. So anytime we are linking externally to our site, we want to make sure that the URL structure, and what I mean by that is, so let's say when you go visit your site, it has www.yourdomain.com. Anything externally, we want to match that www.yourdomain.com. So for this grilling cleaning company, their Facebook profile and their social posts that they put out are matching that URL. Theirs is a non-www.yourdomain.com. So what theirs is just yourdomain.com, and they're appropriately linking from it from their Facebook account. Okay, so you're doing that. And then also in your social posts, you're also linking to individual pages, not just the home page, which is great. Really like seeing that. Boom, great. This is awesome. This is also great videos too. So then let's go look at the Instagram request service. So let's click this. Let's see, what URL are we taking to? The non.dub version, which is great. This is awesome. So on your request service page, you have an embedded Google Business profile, but this profile is not linking to your actual Google Business profile. So what you need to do, and this is not only to you, everyone needs to go and check the Google Business profile that they have embedded on their website. An overwhelming majority of the time, I would say 8 out of 10 times, I do an audit. The embedded Google Business profile map is not linking to the actual Google Business profile. So yours is linking to this address, but I know that you're actually over here. So for you, you're going to want to go to the overview. You're going to want to go to share, embed a map, and then this is the code or the HTML that you want to embed on this page right here for the request service, the Grill Authority. Okay, so there's that. Let's go back to their Instagram. Instagram is linking to that page, which is great. So on your social profiles, make sure that you, like you're on your Facebook, you're doing this great. You have a link pointing to your website. So make sure on your Instagram as well that you're doing the same thing. Yeah, these are great. These are all images. You do have some videos on your Facebook. I would also get these on your Instagram as well. Now, posting or repurposing content on multiple different platforms can get overwhelming, but there are a lot of providers or third-party softwares that you can go and schedule posts on and then have it easily cross-post across multiple different platforms. Also, if you properly link your Instagram and your Facebook account, whenever you post on one, it will cross-post to the other. So if you're only currently wanting to target Instagram and Facebook, you can just have that set up. And then also, when you are doing the cross-posting, just make sure that you have that link in the post so that it comes back to your site, right? So Tyler asked a great question. Post-its, that's what I personally use. There are a ton of other providers. I think it's 1,600 scheduled posts right now with posts. That is currently the platform that I'm using. I love their service. They have an API. So I have Claude hooked up. It has access to the API and it will create all the media assets that I want it to. And then it will go and schedule all the posts for me. I will ask it to create a scheduling matrix or a scheduling calendar so I can see visually like how many posts do I have scheduled out, and it will show me all of that. Then I will be repurposing a lot of the content across platforms, right? I'll have my tweets turned into Twitter cards. I'll show you actually real quick. So these right here, I will have my tweets turned into this so that I can post these individual cards or carousels on Instagram. These will also go on some other platforms. I also have it so that I will export shorts or long form videos onto my PC, and then it has access to my PC to where it can then grab those videos and put them into post-its to then go and schedule those on the other platforms like Instagram, Facebook. We've got TikTok, YouTube I do manually, and then you can also do Facebook as well. Okay, so let's get back to the audit. So for this grilling company, they only have 3 current services. Ideally, you want to get that up to around 15. When you go to put services on your Google Business Profile, you not only can target the specific keyword that you are wanting to target, right? So for this grilling company, they're targeting grill cleaning. What you can also do is what I would say are keyword variations or just slight different terms or verbs of the keyword you're looking to target. So they're doing grill cleaning. You could do grill cleaner, right? And then you can also go and continue go horizontal with your keywords and keyword variations. If you're having difficulty finding these keyword variations, you can also search in Google the keyword you're wanting to target and then look at all the bolded terms in the search results that Google gives you. And those are keywords or keyword variations that Google thinks is relevant to the search term that you put in, right? Those are also another source of keywords and keyword variations that you want to target with your services on your Google Business Profile. After you place a service on your Google Business Profile, you are then going to want to go back into your Google Business Profile and then add a description. That description can be 2 to 3 sentences. The description itself is never served, so no one ever is actually going to read it. So don't worry too much about what is actually being said or listed in there from someone actually reading it. We just basically are wanting to do a checkbox for Google, if that makes sense. Another thing is I would try really hard to not be a service area based Google Business Profile. You're going to want to get a physical address verified location. When you have a service area based profile, it is way more difficult to rank. Not only that, there are certain search terms. An example would be like, let's say someone typed in grill cleaner near me. Because someone is adding that modifier of near me, what it does is that it will make it almost impossible for you to rank consistently because you're a service area based profile. So whenever you can, you're going to want to look into getting the necessary documents or physical location, like a commercial location, to where you can actually get your address verified. This is amazing. Thank you for the thoughtful breakdown. For the town pages, I read that I should space out posting them 2 beer week. Is that true? Chris PR funnels. Chris, is this yours? This Grill Authority, or are you talking about a different site? I'm helping my dad with it. Oh, so this is your site? He had an agency that was doing 0 work on it and just taking his... Yeah, that's common. Sorry that happened. Hey, great name, by the way. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that this is your site, Chris. Your question is the town pages. I read that I should space out posting them 2 per week. Yeah, you could follow that. There really is no hard set rule. It really just comes dependent on like how healthy is the site. And when I say that, what I mean is like how technically healthy is it? Like what is the backlink profile currently? What is currently occurring on the site? And a lot of this you can find in the Google Search Console. And so what you can do is you can go to your pages, your indexing pages, and see what's currently going on. If you're currently having an issue with getting pages indexed, or if you go into the settings, if you scroll all the way on the left side and you go all the way down to settings and you go to your crawl report and you open that up and you start seeing a lot of 4 errors, you have to go scroll down a little bit further. Let me pull it up. I can show you. This will be a lot easier. Yeah, I'll just show you on my own site, actually. Help illustrate this. So like this is my own personal site, right? So let's say you start here, you scroll all the way down, you go to settings, you got your crawl stats right here. You're gonna go to open a report. And then right here, what you can see is all of your by response. And so if you have a lot of issues, a lot of errors here, then this is also going to have a huge impact on your indexing from Google. And not only that, your rankings as well. Something that happened to my personal site is I had a DDoS attack. And so currently right here, what happened is that they were hitting the server that was hosting my files so much that Google couldn't send GET requests or HTTPS requests or requests to the page to actually visit it. So I had a whole bunch of failed crawl requests. And so what happened, if we look at my search performance, whenever I start getting these hits, it essentially took my site out of Google. And so a lot of the questions based on, can I add more pages? Can I do X? Can I get away with Y? Is you need to look and see what is currently occurring, like technical wise, like what is Google experiencing when it comes and visits my site? Is it experiencing a whole bunch of 301 redirects? Is it experiencing a whole bunch of 404 errors? Is it able to find all my URLs properly interlinked, right? So there's a lot more questions that need to be answered. And you kind of need to go down like a logic tree of, okay, the other things is that dependent on how big the site currently is already can also determine how much more can I get away with getting more pages indexed, right? Let me pull up another site that illustrates this. Another example is this other site that I have. So I have 8,500 pages indexed, and then I have 8,000 not indexed. But then when I go down here, like to links, I have no links. And then, so it's really hard to kind of set a hard set rule or an answer on, can I get away with this? There's a lot of other questions that kind of have to be answered, like I was talking about. The other thing that you have to consider is normally by proxy, to make it super simple, is your referring domains or the amount of backlinks that you have. If this isn't a high quantity, then you can usually get away with having more pages and getting more pages indexed. The other thing that you want to consider is that when you are going to expand these service pages, these location pages, is that do you really need them? Because each page needs to have a purpose. If you just want to have the page to show users when they come by that, hey, we also service these other areas, then yeah, you can do that. But if you're trying to rank 30 different locations pages, and when you're doing a specific service that is hardly searched for, this is also something else to consider, right? If you're trying to create new location pages for something that doesn't have a ton of search volume for that specific location or that specific area, that is also going to have an impact on your decision if you should go and do that. Now, the other thing to consider is that having those location pages will also tell Google more information about you, right? So to answer your question is, I think you can personally get away with it. I would also be cognizant of when you go to create those new pages on your social profiles, have a link back to that new location page, right? So then we can also help with getting those backlinks, those social backlinks, and some referring domains to those individual pages to help them stay indexed. And if you're looking to rank them individually for those certain areas, you can. Ideally, I wouldn't have, when someone clicks to get the service, this is more of like a CRO thing than it is an SEO thing, is that you don't want to take them to a new page. You want, when someone clicks call or someone clicks book or more about the information, you want it to pop up in the same page so that they're not taken to a new page. What you want them to do is to have as less friction as possible so that we facilitate the transaction as easy as possible. So right here, instead of having this take me to a new page, I would have a pop out for whatever you're trying to do, a form or call, right? Because then on this page, you have another thing that I have to click to then book now. Instead, you can have this pop up on this page so that I don't have to click 2 to 3 times. Because what you have to consider is that each additional click, you're just adding more friction. And so you're just hurting the rate in which people will convert to actually getting your service. So the more steps you add, you could literally reduce it by 30%, the amount of conversions you would have gotten. I think that's, is there anything else that I see? Oh yeah, what we can also do is we're going to search the domain in Google. So I'm just seeing what is currently indexed in Google. So something that you can do on your own site is type in your domain. Don't do the HTTPS : or if you even have www, just remove all of that. Just do yourdomain.com in quotes in search, in Google search, and this will show you what Google has indexed that has that specific portion, that specific string, your domain, what Google has indexed of pages that have that on there. And you can see, this is like a cheap, easy way or a dirty way to do it. It doesn't grab everything Google knows about you, but it does kind of give us an idea. Let's look at your Yelp listing. Is there a phone number? Yeah, your phone number's up there. 215-645-711. Okay, your phone number matches. That's great. Basically, what I'm doing right now is I am searching through your directory listings like Yelp, etc., to see, okay, does the link back to your site have the correct URL structure? It does. It has the non-www version. When I go to your site, it serves me the non-www version. Your phone number and the address are also correct, I believe. You don't have a physical verified address, so I can't confirm that because Google doesn't serve it to me. But yeah, so that's your Yelp listing, which looks good. Okay, so now we're going to move into the audit that runs automatically. It's a skill I've built. That's an internal tool that we have. And let's see what it found. Okay, so the whole site loads on 2 different addresses. So what this is saying is that if I put in the www version of your domain, I am also given that version. So what happens is that you're not 301 redirecting any traffic that is going to the www version of your URL. So what's currently occurring is that for each page you have, I can go to the non-www version and the www version of it. So what does that mean? So for Google will visit both of these versions of the URL. It will see 2 identical sites and it will be like, okay, these are duplicates. What's going on here? The other thing that's happening is that each site only has a certain amount of crawl budget. Crawl budget is the amount of times that Google will come by and crawl your website. So if you're serving 2 different versions, you're essentially cutting that crawl budget in half. Now, there are ways to influence the crawl budget so that you have more, but just for right now, as an example, you're currently wasting crawl budget on both of these sites. You have 2 duplicate sites because I'm able to visit the www version and the non-www version, and I'm getting both of the same web files of the same website. Oh, so it's actually just your homepage. It's actually not that bad. So only on your homepage am I taken to I can go to the www version and the non-www version. So the crawl budget and stuff I was just talking about is not as bad. I thought this was across all of your pages, but it's just that one. So let's go. All right, let's go to your sitemap now. So we're just going to do your domain. Then we're going to type in sitemap and then XML. See what's going on in here. So my audit says that old address now forwards to that. Okay. So let's go and look at these. You have blog content? Oh, okay. That's not good. We'll talk about that in a second. Upload, that's not good either. Or actually, I don't know. Why? That's interesting. New to me. What's new to you? There's a little bit of a delay. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Okay. Yeah, so it looks like we've got quite a bit going on in here. Benefits. This makes sense. These pages that the person who built this site did. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here. Okay. So you have, or is this across the site? Okay. Hey, Chris, so in the bottom right here, this address, if I click this, it will just take me to the same page. So in your footer, this should rather link to your Google, no, this should just link to your Google Business Profile. And so the link that you want to get, Chris, is, and I'll pull it up for you. So because you don't have a physical address verified, you can't do the directions URL link to place on your site when you have an address and you want people to click it to then get directions to your location. So because you don't have that, what instead we're going to do is we're going to go to the Google Business Profile on Maps. At the top, we want to make sure that we have the URL that is google.com/maps/place. And then you should see a / the start of your name. And then in each individual word, you should have a plus that puts them all together. This is the URL that you want if you don't have a physical address verified location on your website. You want to link to it. And I put it there in the chat for you, Chris. I would go and replace that across your footer or across your site. So let's clean this up a little bit. So let's close this. Let's close that. I think this benefits page is actual of use, so I won't touch that. I won't touch that either. Grill cleaning is your service. That's your service. So you've got testimonials. Okay, so we'll go through. These are not different. Okay, so these are all the same. Okay. In your sitemap, what you currently have occurring is that you are creating new pages for each of your testimonials. So this blog sitemap that you have is just testimonials, just a little bit of text that is also pulling in the header and footer. And then all you have is this text. So what this is doing is causing your URLs to bloat just because there's no actual purpose for this page. This is just a piece of data, right? This testimonial is a string, right? That you just want to have in the back end that isn't its own page. Or if for some reason your WordPress CMS makes it so that you have to do this for whatever reason, you want to make sure that it's not being able to be found by Google. You can have as many pages as you want. What you just got to make sure is that Google never finds them. If Google never finds your 10,000 pages and you only want 100 pages found by Google, by all means, have 1,000 pages, have 10,000 pages. Just make sure that you have the proper setup, that everything's cleaned up so that Google never finds those. For this, yeah, you've got a whole bunch of blogs that I would get rid of. And then also you have another instance of this where you've got blog/category/testimonials. And this is just another instance in which you have a whole bunch of testimonial content that doesn't need its own page. Again, we can just have this hidden somewhere or just not, yeah. And then you have this author page, which I like. The only thing that I would change about this is that it is more styled for an actual author or an about page of this person, their expertise in the service that you're currently offering, like grill cleaning or grill maintenance, grill repair, right? I would go and clean this up. Or so rather build this page out or just get rid of it. And because on your our team page, you are already doing a little bit of this, you could have like individual pages for each of the owners or the people that work for the company, and you could build them out if you wanted to, right? That's a little bit on the tail end of optimization. That's not one of the first things I would do. That's one of the last things I would worry about. Pages exist on your site that nothing links to and no mentions. Directory to the list is enabled. Every file here is discoverable. WordPress content / I'm actually going to look at this off stream, Chris, just because I don't know if this is a security concern. Yeah, DM me, Chris. I don't know if this is, I don't know. I haven't done enough research into this. This is just a quick glance audit, right? I'll actually open this right now and I'll DM you because I don't know what this is. You have to manually go through all of this just to figure out what's currently being exposed. Check your message requests on Twitter or X and see what's going on in there. Yeah, that's the other thing we saw on the sitemap, so this isn't actually important. The site is missing standard security headers. There are 5. Yeah, so again, sitemap stuff you need to fix. The blog stuff you need to fix that doesn't matter. And then no descriptions. Yep, that we don't care about that. Low pages. Yeah, your share preview needs to be fixed as well. But I know these are all on pages you don't care about except the request service. So on your request service page, and I'll show you what I'm talking about, you go to view page source. In your meta property tags or in your meta name like Twitter card, what this does is that whenever you link your site, there will be an image that you can choose that will be present whenever someone sees your link on a social media post or etc., wherever you link it, right? On this page, your request service, you want to make sure that you have that on there. These other pages, you don't actually want ranking or shouldn't actually exist, so I wouldn't worry about them for those. And okay, so that's all of the audit for the grill